Hey, just a quick one for you. It seemed that early on you guys had a lot of fire, a lot of energy, and as the momentum kind of shifted, it kind of seemed like USC they kind of had the fire. Is that something that you guys kind of noticed that as the momentum shifts, some of the energy and the passion kind of seemed like it flipped to the other sideline?
Yeah, I see it. I mean, I think a lot about that. I mean, because it's a good question, but it's also very broad. Like I'll compare it to UFC. I think we're a team that we have a good initial punch, but not really a chin, and we don't have a lot of like stamina for later on. I mean, like if you come out in a fight, and you hit him a couple times and it's great, and everything's rah rah, and then you get hit and you just fold, then I mean, that's like the mark of a sap fighter. And I think that like it's not even that energy and passion leaves. It's that I think that in that game we were a 30-minute football team. A team that we came out swinging. We had them on the ropes, had them where we wanted them. USC is a good team, so came out and tried to put them away as much as we could, and then like the next half it was just gone. And there's lots of I guess reasons for that, but I mean, if we're not excited to play, then why are we out there in the first place?
Great. Thanks, Abe.
Yeah. All right, Abe. Next question is going to be Colton Clark, spokesman of you. Go ahead, Colton.
Hey, where did it turn? Do you think? Was there a moment where it felt like the spark started to go away? That maybe that fumble on the kickoff, late first half touchdown.
I mean, I just think like my mentality going into every game is to dominate, and I think most people's mentality is that. I mean, because you know the people around you, you know the level of skill that you have around you. But that being said, like I'm also realistic. I recognize that not every football game can be a blowout, you know. And I think a lot of people think the same way I do, but are missing the realism part. And I'm not putting myself outside of the team or anybody individually or anything like that. I mean, this was a team loss, but the thing is like when bad things happen, how do you respond? I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's basic bread and butter type stuff. I mean, it's like, I mean, football is just like a game of life, because bad stuff happens and you have to just keep going. I know it sounds really stupid to say, but it's true.
Did you feel that early on in this game, did USC seem a little bit out of sorts? I mean, it seemed like they weren't entirely comfortable in their offense. Could you feel that playing or in their defense? Could you feel that playing against them early?
I mean, yeah, they look like we did the second half. I mean, we had them on the ropes. They came and turned around, had us on the ropes. I mean, that's kind of the way football goes. I mean, really, that's like any sport. Sports are kind of like games of runs. You make a run, one team makes a run. The mark of a good football team, though, is like if you can have a good run throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, we do too much of this, I think, on this team. And again, I say we because I'm on this team too. Again, I'm not above anybody. I mean, I'm an old lineman. I don't even touch the ball. But like, I mean, I think a big thing for us to improve on, and these things take time, is to have a steady increase because you can't shoot up super fast. And because, you shoot up super fast, big tree fall hard.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Abe Lucas? Please raise your hands. All right, Abe, next one's going to be from Squabo from Daily Evergreen. Go ahead, Squabo.
Hey, Abe, what kind of difference do you think it would have made if Jaden DeLore was able to stay healthy the entire game?
I don't know. Can't speak on it, because stuff happens, I mean, nobody's really healthy in the game of football, I will say. I mean, we all battle lots of different stuff, and I'm not going to knock any one of my teammates or any one of my coaches. I love them all to death. And I'll always stand by them in whatever it is they do. No matter what the record is or what the score is or anything. But I mean, I would just say that to get into that without getting into that, we just got to be ready to adjust.
And what do you guys think you could do differently when the momentum starts to shift to get it back on your side?
Not worry about outside noise, whether you're home or away or what people are saying from the stands and all that garbage. It's just, we're on the field for a reason. I mean, I was talking to, I'm not going to say who, but I was talking to somebody after the game, and I just said, hey, I don't care if we're, 14-0 or 0-4, 0-12. Like, we come out, we play hard. It doesn't matter what anybody says. There's a reason we got, 85 guys on our sideline, and everybody else is there to support, but we have our job to take care of, and all that matters that then is us and the people in the locker room and the people in this building.
Thank you.
We got two more for Abe. John Blanchette, spokesman of you. Go ahead, John.
When you guys were unable to get the ball in the end zone, when you had first and goal at the one in the early in the game, what was your perspective on what went wrong down there?
Just got to put it in. I mean, wasn't bad play calling or anything like that. We didn't get it in. That's on the team. That's not on Rollo.
Two more for Abe. Next question, Doyle Bolin. Go ahead, Doyle.
And kind of like that momentum. So in future games, how do you sustain that, and where do you go from here?
Well, here's the thing. Here's my opinion, and I'll say it as clearly as I can. This is an interesting time for Cougar football, just because there's a shift in culture. Now, that's not a bad thing necessarily. I mean, we had the COVID year, didn't really get to hit the ground running or anything like that. These things take time, and they take time to build, and they take time to build well. I think that the right people are here for the job to make that happen. And I mean, I understand this is a results business, and, but I mean, we think about to when Leach got here, what was his first record? It was 3-9. Now, I'm not saying we're going 3-9 because we're going to do the best to make sure that doesn't happen. But by the end of that, we was 11-2, and I was on that team when we were 11-2. I've done well. I've done not well. I understand that you don't build a culture overnight. Cultures take time, and culture is a thing that when you have leaders, when you have a group of leaders that leave, there's an absence of culture, and then a new culture has to come in and be built. And again, it takes time. It's not something that grows really quick. It's like the building of a Coliseum. It's not going to happen in a day. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? I mean, that's kind of the way culture is. It's not built in a day. It takes a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears. And if I got to be as a senior, as a fifth-year senior, have to be the cornerstone to which this culture is built on, I will 100% do it.
Okay, last one for Abe. Theo Lawson, spokesman of you. Go ahead, Theo.
Yeah, what do you think is the biggest difference between the culture of this program with Coach Rolovich and the program with Coach Leach? Coach Leach also often kind of preached mental toughness, and maybe that's something that's kind of lacking for you guys right now. But if you could just kind of point to the biggest change in culture that you've kind of noticed, and in the last 3 seasons, I guess, or 2.5 seasons.
You're dealing with two different coaches. One was a dictator and one is a player's guy. Leach was a dictator, and I loved and respected him for it because his word was the law. Rollo cares about us much more as individuals and as players. The way that I think the method that Rollo has it, that he's doing it as is perfect, but it's also, I think, a little bit tougher because, with somebody like Leach, his word is law. And if you screw up, you're going to be out of there. Rollo is a guy who really has done a lot for this team. I mean, a lot of people don't see it, like what's going on in the background, but I mean, like he got here and, within a month, one of our players passed away, and he's with a group of guys that he doesn't know. And he's caring for us like that, and so I don't know if I see too much of a difference in culture as it is a restarting of culture, because I mean, cultures don't last forever. Eventually something new comes in and something new takes it and replaces it. And who knows, 100 years down the line, there's going to be another dictator coach who's here, who comes in and acts like Leach. And then another 100 years after that, there's going to be a guy who acts like Rollo. It's a team effort. This isn't, I mean, I don't know how you can put it on just one guy, and say it's his fault, that everything's happening the way it's happening. This is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. I mean, if you like individual sports, go watch basketball or go watch boxing or something.